Welcome to Conversation, a platform where life topics are discussed. Talking about romance and passion in marriage, um, a lot of couples go through the usual routines of life, responsibilities, children, and after a few years or a number of years, they get spent, especially if they're not intentional about filling up. It's normal. So having to rekindle passion is not a sin, it's not bad because we have to refuel our cars because it's being used. So at times we have daily refills depending on what the issue or what the particular thing is. We eat every day, we refill our tummies and all. So when it comes to marriage, we spend, you know, energies when it comes to our interactions. Um, Apart from the marriage relationship, we have other relationships. We have our families, parents, children. We have work. So as human beings, we actually spend ourselves on a daily, and it affects marriage as well. So yeah, there's a need for refueling and rekindling passion um, in marriage. There's always that need, yes.
Yeah, I mean, she said it's all in a way. I think the difference has to do with um, prioritizing. You understand? Before, when people get married at first, it's like husband and wife alone, and you pour energy on each other. But as life goes on, other things come in, like work, um, children. You understand? As if you're not careful, you can lose that focus. A man, for instance, can unconsciously pour passion into his work unknowingly. It's because we all remain passionate. But the question is, what are you passionate about? So the man can be passionate about the work. And while it's at that, the marital passion is going down. A woman can be passionate about the children, and pour a lot of passion on them, their well-being, their okayness. And while a woman is doing that, might unconsciously forget about the husband. It's an unconscious thing because it's something that we don't plan. And the moment you are doing that, something suffers. So I think what we need to realize that it happens, like Pastor Bimbo just said now, we get spent. The energies every day, and at the end of the day, the tank goes low. When the tank goes low, the passion is no more there. And another thing that I think leads to that is boredom, where there's a routine, like the same thing every day. There's no creativity in the home. And boredom reduces passion. When the same process, the same house, the same settee, the same thing, it can be very boring. So when that comes in, you lose passion. So there are different things, and I'm happy we're talking about this because it's an awareness that people don't. The hustle and bustle of our cities has a way of draining marital passion. And at the end of the day, the pain that people end up with is, okay, the work is supposed to be for the family in a way, right? I think so. The children will come and children will even go. Now, when they now go get married, you are left with your wife or with your husband. So I think each couple must be conscious of the fact that this passion must be renewed, kind of. She said intentional. I think that is the main thing. It has to be possible, if possible, scheduled so that you can refill. If not, you can run to deficit. We have 4 children. It's a lot of work, and thankfully she does a lot with them. So sometimes I feel jealous that they abandoned me, but of course, so I call for that time out and balance, and then that's the focus. One area that I think will help couples, especially younger couples, is the issue of love languages. Nothing drains any human being like when the love language is not attended to. Like what fills that passion is your love language. If my love language is um, words of affirmation now, or like mine is acts of service. So if for instance yours is words and you don't have those words coming in regularly, the person will feel spent. Okay, so that consciousness have to be there. So we've had our own times where she feels, passion is out and she calls for a break. There are times we communicate it differently. Okay, but I think couples should just be sensitive to each other. But the moment you notice that the cup is like empty, it's better to attend to it.
I think for me, it's when couples start getting agitated, sometimes things that never used to get at you at one, it starts getting at you. Then it's a sign that okay, there's something going on here. Okay, so I think when it comes to, I think this is where help is needed sometimes. Sometimes help is needed to rekindle passion, or to help a failing or almost failing marriage in a situation where an account has been read for a very long time and it needs an emergency bailout. So sometimes when couples are in a state where someone is saying or thinking that, look, I'm not in love anymore, I don't love this person, it's a sign that something has been taken for granted for a while, or someone is not yielding like they should. I remember, even with our relationship with God, let me just put that in. There are times when we feel spent. There are times when we feel tired. There are times when it looks like you don't even want God in your life. Maybe you're angry about something that happened. And I remember listening to a message some time ago, and I realized, and the person speaking said that getting back your passion it may be hard. It is hard sometimes, but the steps to take can be simple, in the sense that what you used to do before, just start doing them again. The dating, when before you got married, there were some things you would do. You would call your partner, you would, go out of your way to do certain things. You would almost even forget yourself, you know. So those simple, they seem simple, but just to get us to doing it sometimes is the struggle. However, there are times when there's an added help needed, where counseling, they need to talk about it, maybe seeing it from another perspective. So hearing someone even talk to them, or just, it may not even be as serious as needing a professional counselor. Maybe just another perspective, or just sitting down with a group of friends and hearing other people's marriages, and you just realize that, okay, I'm not the only one going through this, or you are just seeing something from another perspective. So there are different ways to go about rekindling, especially if the situation is very dire. So I would say, before it even gets there, maybe for me, I learned that simple lesson or message that I listened to really, really was profound for me. Get back to doing the things that you used to do. You may start out, like, this is just, it's a strain getting, because maybe sometimes the feelings may not be there. But once you start doing it, the feelings will come back, because it's something that you had done before, especially if it's someone that you had loved, or is a friend. If the person is a friend, then yes, definitely you can, the little atoms will use you, the memories come back. However, if it's a situation where help is needed, where you need to talk to someone, get other people involved, seeing or hearing another perspective, then that will be done. Falling in love, yes, can be, or staying in love is work?
I think she has finalized it. Staying in love is a lot of work. I think I thank God for conversations like this so that people can be aware. The challenge that I have noticed that people usually have is they don't take steps on time. I won't lie to you. When some things cross to a particular level, it's hard to bring back. So I encourage us or people to like seek help on time, like she said about helps. And she mentioned some about foundation, like what did you do at the beginning? What are the likes and dislikes? What did your wife say she likes? You know, what does your husband say he likes or he doesn't like? You know, you check. She has told me he doesn't like me talking like this. He has said he doesn't like me looking like this, or all those things. They matter because the challenge is that love language thing. That account just goes lower and lower without making so much noise, and then suddenly it reaches a point where there's an alarm, and sometimes when the alarm shows, people are not even ready for it and they react differently. So I feel filling that account back intentionally and responsibly. I said in church some weeks ago that people take each other for granted. I've seen that even with friends, because somebody is close to you and they just we unconsciously take each other for granted. Husband and wife can do that. They just take each other for granted. You will forget it. You will forgive me. She will overlook it. It's not as bad as that. And then things continues to happen. And then one day it becomes a crisis. So while in fact, friends that last are the ones that, in spite of the play, they don't take each other for granted. I believe that people that are almost falling out of love should count the cost. In Yoruba land, they say what is after 6 is more than 7. Meaning, I know maybe you are feeling like you are out of love, but what do you want to do next? Are there things you can do to recover where you are? Because if you want to opt out, maybe you should count the cost of the opting out and then realize that the energy and the responsibility of falling back in love might be cheaper than the adventure you want to take. So I think that will help people, because sometimes people say, I'm done, I'm tired, fine. But okay, what next? Want to jump out of it? The next place might not be better off. So I think people should invest in recovery and renewal and refilling.
Conversations.
In marriage, I realized that there are different phases when it comes to marriage. There are phases, I've read it and I've heard it said, and we've experienced it where, beginning stages, we have we have unique feelings and unique emotions that happen at the beginning compared to the middle stage, depending on how old the marriage is. I remember someone reached out to me a few weeks ago, and she was talking about her marriage, and she was saying, you know what, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm working from home. I have toddlers to take care of. That I don't even have any other emotion left for my husband. And I realized that, okay, yes, there are several stages that happen to different couples, but know that you're not alone. Just the awareness that, you know what, this too shall pass, will help, that it's not unique to us or unique to you. The friendship, the bond between a husband and wife is so, so key. There are times things happen. There are times you get angry with one another. But then you look at the fact that we are a bond. We have that bond. We can talk about it. We can laugh over it. We can overlook. We can even, fight it out and get back. So that bond is important. The awareness that this is a phase, it will pass. And, just trusting that process through will help.
One day my pastor was praying for me, and he said, may your walk, W-A-L-K, with God be more important to you than your walk for God. In this context, it's saying that means you're working for God, you're a pastor, but your relationship with God comes first. Because sometimes we can be working, and forget that relationship. And that can kill that relationship, the work. So I think for couples, that priority, that for me, for instance, I love our children, I love the ministry, but she's first before the children, her well-being, the same thing for the woman. Your husband first. I know you care for the kids, I know you do a lot, but your husband, that prioritizing in any relationship, because what you prioritize is what you feel. The moment that is out of the place, you might just see yourself doing a lot of things. Like, I can be working for God, and my relationship with God can be bankrupt. I won't honor him the way I should honor him, like praying and everything. So that I feel people should always remember the priority. Almost like saying, if everybody has not eaten in this house, God should eat first. In that sense. You understand? So the same way, if I'm not even going to church to preach, but let me know that me and God, we're in a relationship. So I feel that prioritizing is key. That relationship priority will feed others by default. But the more we misplace it unknowingly, others begin to falter. So I think that is key. And then we need creativity. Boredom is people need to change the way they live, change the color of the homes. Just be creative, because boredom can make us lose passion. Thank you for joining today. I hope the little discourse we just started the discussion. I hope it will help us rekindle marital passion again. Don't forget to subscribe and watch this again and again. And all the episodes we've had, they've been very, very wonderful. It's okay for you to share it again and listen to them again. We'll all be better off for it. Thank you.